After work again, and we had something turn up today that I've been waiting for, a cylinder head. Now, can anyone notice what's wrong with this? So one, this is broken off, and two, this is the complete wrong cylinder head. I mean cylinder barrel. This is what I want, and that's what I got. So that is a cylinder barrel for a 250cc bike, not a 125, which is super annoying. So I've contacted the seller and they'll just have to refund me basically. But I mean, this gives some idea of the sort of quality of the things. They're not bad. They're not as good as the proper Honda ones, but these are Honda under license, so you know they're all right. These pistons look a bit strange, sort of rough finish on the top, but you get all the bits. So you know, there's the pistons and the rings and the gudgeon pins and the circlips and gaskets, but if it's not the right size, it's not much use to me. So super annoying, because I've been waiting for that for ages. And we have got Milo doing dodgy things. Milo. This also arrived today, which is a replacement brake rod. So this has been in the ultrasonic cleaner. Turn it off. So I'm going to give this a clean up. To just have that end in there and just give it a quick degrease, but this will replace my broken one. This is a proper CB125 one, so got that off a guy who's wrecking a bike, same chap who that petrol tank came from. So we're just waiting for parts now. I am going to cut up this plastic container. It's nice thick plastic, Sparpool chemicals, to make some rim protectors. I'm going to use these and leather wrapped around the tyre irons to protect the rims when I put the tyres on. It's far too cold to do that today though. I need to wait till the weekend I think for that, because it's just on 10 degrees now. But the clutch should be on the way, so at least I can get the bottom end cleaned up. So now I have to see what the seller's going to say about this. Like I say, basically all they can do is refund me. I don't think I'll even have to send that back. Where would I even send it if it's come from China? So either I give them a second chance to send the right thing, or else I have to get this board out, because this is worn, and I would have to get oversized pistons and rings from the UK, because I don't think I can get those here. I can get new standard size pistons and rings locally, although locally probably means from China as well. So if I do that, then I still need to find someone who can actually bore this out for me. So yeah, not feeling too motivated on things today, but I'll clean up that brake rod. That's probably a good place to start, and I might start cutting this up as well. Just popped out here early in the morning just to turn this brake rod round. I've had it sitting in my rust killing solution overnight. Now this wasn't really that rusty, but I should really measure the pH of this stuff and just check, see how acidic it is. But that was sitting in that solution overnight, and you can see it's just cleaned it up beautifully. Because it's too long, only so much of it was submerged, and you can see the difference there. So, and that was literally just overnight. So I'm just going to put that in that way around and oil it up later on after work when I come out here properly. That was the jack, or is the jack, that lives in the bottom of head gardener's car, which has been leaking. So this was completely rusty. You can still see a bit of rust on it, but sitting it in here, You see the rust is coming off. I really do need to look at getting a little circulating pump in here, I think. I think just having some flow in the fluid will really help. But it's working super well. And I think what I'll do, I can't remember what's in the bottom of this now. I think it's just the jack and that brake rod. But since that stuff's still working, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip it out through a paint strainer just to get any big chunks out of it. One of these things. And tip it into the fuel tank. The fuel tank on the bike, oh, it's a bit chilly in here. The fuel tank on the bike, oh, I don't have a key here. This is pretty clean inside, but that'll just give it a really nice clean. And then I may give it a coat of red coat, which is the tank liner stuff I use. I think I've still got enough in there. Because this uses acetone as its solvent, you can just keep topping up the acetone. It gets thinner and thinner, of course, but the acetone evaporates off anyway. So as long as you've got the stuff in that acetone solution, it'll still coat. So I think you could use this all the way down. I don't think it's going to get less effective, even though there's less of it in the jar, if that makes sense. So I'll give that a nice thin coat of red coat as well. I've done that on most of the things around here. Some of them now are a few years old and they're all holding up brilliantly. So I think that'll be fine. And it's been nearly a week. It's Friday at the moment. So I think I can almost start putting some of this back together now. The paint is nice and solid, reasonably solid. I think it'll keep drying for a few weeks. And the cylinder head, no, it's a cylinder barrel, I keep calling it a cylinder head, but cylinder barrel. I contacted the sellers and they're just going to send me the proper one. They haven't said what they want me to do with this one yet. I'm assuming they won't want it back because these are shipped direct from China. So I'm not going to send it back to China. I suspect they'll just cut their losses. So if anybody needs a 250cc cylinder head, I'm assuming it's just a standard Honda type one, let me know because I've got one. I think that's about it. Yeah, I just came out quickly to turn that rod around. My rubber parts, I think I did mention that you know, this was completely rigid. I think it was this corner. It's still pretty hard just in that corner. I could probably leave it in there for longer, but that stuff absolutely works. It's softened all these up nicely. These are the bits that go on the airbox. And the whole shed smells of liniment. Basically, that wintergreen has got a very strong smell and it gets on everything. But, that's the petrol cap. Not sure if that's rust or just leftover solution on there. It's just leftover solution. So that hasn't even re-rusted yet. A little bit of surface rust on it. Very, very good, that stuff. And if you buy the chemicals in bulk, super cheap. So I never have to buy Vaporust again, which is great because that stuff is expensive. After work on Friday, and my clutch plates finally arrived. I never did hear from the guy, but obviously he'd forgotten to send them, and then put them in the post as quick as he could. But that's okay. They just took a little bit longer than I thought, but they were fine. They're brand new. I measured the stack of the old clutch plates compared to the new ones. There's 5 plates there, and it was over a millimeter difference. So the old ones, they're not worn out, but they were worn. So I've got this all back together. I did have some trouble with the Kickstarter mechanism, just getting that in the right place. And then I got it all back together, and then I was trying it and it was jammed up, and I couldn't figure out why it was jammed up. So I took it all apart again. Nearly lost the spring off the end of the the little oil end of the crankshaft where the oil goes into the end of the crank. So I had to go hunting around for that. I did find it. It was actually on my welding cart. So that's all back together. Now I'm wondering if it's actually really in there. It is. I'm sure it is. I'll have a poke through in there and see if I can make sure and check that it is where I think it should be. Might stick my little camera in there. Starter now works correctly. Oh, so I took it all apart, fiddled with it, put it all back together. It seemed to be working, and then realized what was jamming it up was the chain. The chain had just got caught a little bit, so that's all it was. I wasn't using any force or anything on it, so there was no damage done. But now I have got it all back together. The kickstarter works correctly, the gears work correctly, the clutch works correctly. I'm just able to pull in the clutch by hand. If I get in the right place, I can just do it enough to turn the sprocket and make sure that the clutch is actually working, so that's all good. So there's no oil in here yet, and obviously I still now need to wait for the new cylinder block. But this is you can see there's a bit of a rip there, so that tape's coming off a bit. I need to clean that and re-tape that. Milo's busy licking concrete for some reason, not sure. But yeah, this is all back together. I did replace 2 of the screws with, they're just Phillips head screws for now, but I might just leave them. Hopefully I'm not going to have to get into here in a hurry, and even though it's annoying having the wrong screws there, it's not worth it buying 2 screws from Australia, which seems to be the closest place. And you know, the screws are less than $1 each and the shipping is $30. So if I order any parts from somewhere where I can get some from, I will order new ones. This one here as well, the head on that isn't great, so I'll probably replace that with a Phillips one as well. And at least then they're all decent screws. One of them on this side wouldn't torque up, but I think it's because the wrong size screw was there. So when I replaced it with the Phillips one, I made that screw a little bit longer, about 3 or 4 threads longer, and that was enough to go into decent thread in the casing, and I was able to torque these up. There is a torque figure for these. I think it's about 6 foot-pound. It's not much. So the only one I need to really replace is that one. It is done up, but it's a little dodgy. You can see that's one I had to remove with vice grips. You can see the little marks on there. But that's easy enough to replace. That one is just a bit of extra support. So that's good. Like I say, the gears work when things are rotating. So this bottom end should all be good now. I would quite like to put some oil in it and turn it over just on the Kickstarter and make sure oil does go everywhere oil should go. I think that's probably a good thing to do before I completely put it back together, because you should be able to see oil coming up here, and I should see oil appearing around the big ends and things. And I think that's probably all we're going to do for tonight. But yeah, I think no, the way around. It goes on the spline, but of course you can't get it all the way on unless you take the bolt out, because the bolt sits in the little groove in the shaft. But yeah, I can't remember what angle that goes at. Something like that, I think, because you can see a little bit of wear there. But, oh, never noticed that before. It's neatly labelled Kickstarter. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to finish for tonight. And the weekend, hopefully, if the weather's good, if it's warm, I'll get the tyres outside and we'll look at fitting the tyres to the rims. because now I'd mentioned it to myself, I was getting a bit paranoid. You can actually shine a light through the oil filler hole and see the end of the crank and see that little button and spring in there. So that is in place, which is good. It'd be really silly to have to take all that apart again just to make sure that was in place. I was sure it was, but it's good to know for certain. Whoops, let's get that back on there. So I'll wrap this back up like Laura Palmer again. And there's my brake rod, which has been in there since lunchtime. Yep, it's cleaning it up. You can see it's already surface rusting up the other end. A little bit of gunk on there. The other thing I've put in here, just because it seemed like a good thing to do, is the inside of the speedo and the tachometer drive cables, springs, I guess they are. So, wow, that really rusted fast, because that was completely rust free at lunchtime. So I think what I need to do is put that in there maybe for another hour or so, and then pull it out, give it a good rub down with a Scotch pad, and then oil it up so it doesn't rust. I might paint it actually. The other thing I did is reassembled my clutch lever. That's all good now with that new bush in there. These are my JIS impact bits which arrived the other day. That was good. And I've cut some thick plastic from a pool, spa pool chemical bottle, and I'll use that as rim protectors, as well as some leather or duct tape or something wrapped around the tire irons, just to avoid scratching the ends there. But that's good. It's good to get this all back to that stage.